Hey everyone, it's Melissa. I wanted to share my latest project with y'all. Seems like everybody except me has done a toilet paper tube mini, and I've been saving toilet paper tubes for quite some time now, and I have a whole bunch. So I decided to sit down and do one, and this is what I came up with. I used the Graphic 45 Comunique paper, which all of y'all have seen. Um, and I had so much fun with this. I'll tell you the inks that I used right quick before we get good and started. Um, I used walnut satin. Let me zoom out a little bit. Walnut satin, black soot, vintage photo, a little bit of old paper, and scattered straw, and I used that only on the back of the tags, as y'all will see. And I haven't finished decorating all the tags because I'm not absolutely sure how I want to do all of them. I used the tubes, I flattened them out with my Big Shot, and instead of wrapping the entire tube in paper, what I did was paint the tubes, all the edges black. Well, actually just the top and the bottom black, and I cut panels of paper and cut them so that they were 1/4 of an inch longer than the tube, so I could tuck paper in the edge. I used score tape to apply the paper, and I used red line tape to apply the binding plastic. And I'll start off by saying I just was all up in making this thing and having a blast and tearing and ripping and distressing and gluing, and did not even take into account where my binding needed to go, because originally I was going to use my Zetter. Well, as you can see, I didn't leave room for binding, so I had to come up with something else for a binding. And I'm kind of glad I made the mistake, because what I came up with is something that I really like and I'll use again. I had to use packaging. Now, I didn't use my crafting plastic on this. I used packaging because I needed it to be very heavyweight. I took the packaging and I used my Tim Holtz styled labels, I believe is what they're called. This is one of them. And I cut out with the packaging this shape. Then I actually cut the center out so I'd have two pieces, punched a hole in the end, and I'll do a close-up in just a second, and then put red line tape about here, and then glossy accents here just on one side. I put the red line tape on both sides and slid it inside the tube, and I had also put score tape inside the lip of the tube and squished it and made my binding. So I'm kind of glad I made the accident with made the mistake with the tubes, because I really like the way the binding came out. And I just used black eyelets. The first one is one of those large We Are Memory Keepers black eyelets, but the rest of them are the 2-piece eyelets for strength. So anyway, I'm going to do a close-up real fast of this front page because you can't see the detail, and I have to explain it to you because it probably looks like a big old mess from here. So I'm going to shake the camera. Okay. What I did, let me try and get some more light up here. I adhered the top and the bottom, like I said, with score tape. So the inside has no adhesive on it. So what I did was I tore a circle section of paper and curled it, as you can see right there, and there is another pattern paper behind it. I slid a circle of a different pattern paper behind that torn circle that I rolled. It's actually this pattern right here behind there. I made the flower from the Tim Holtz Alterations die, and used a couple of different patterns of the paper to make the flower. Used a bead cap, alcohol inked it black, and then just an eyelet in the center. And then I popped up the flower on one of those large black red line tape dots. So you can't see it unless you get up real close, but there's just a lot going on right there. And then my favorite part is, as you can see, the Tim Holtz film strip ribbon. And I wanted it to loop and be very dimensional, so I attached it here with an eyelet. Then I took my big bite and took the foot off of it and made a hole, slid it all the way down in the tube. If you take the foot off, you can get it in there. Made a hole here, then I looped the ribbon, used a brad here to connect it, and popped it up, and then used an eyelet here. And that's what I came up with. Just real different. And as you can see, it's like super distressed. I used my Tim Holtz distresser also. So, and here's the binding close up. It looks like tags actually that are in there, but it's not. It's that stylized label or whatever they're called. So anyway, that's that. Gonna shake the camera, sorry. Okay, back to it. What I did on most of these is I decorated the outside, and the tags will serve as a place to put the pictures and journaling. And the way I made the tag was, this is going to be a picture side and this will be the journaling side. I took 2 pieces of, it's the basil cardstock, and I used this pad, Earth Tones. So I used this color right here for this one. And I just sandwiched them together, adhered them, and then took this corner punch from EK Success, and if you stick, let me open it up, if you stick your paper and get it really straight in there, and even on both sides, and push, it will make this nice tag edge, which I just discovered today, and I was very pleased with that. So I made all my tags by first adhering the black and this earthy color together, punched the end, rounded the corners, and then I took scattered straw ink first, and I inked up this stamp. It's just a big background stamp, and let me see, I think it's, I got it at Hobby Lobby. It's Paper Studio stamp with the fleur-de-lis. And so anyway, use scattered straw so it would be a tone on tone when I stamped it, and stamped that first. Then I took black soot ink and did the fleur-de-lis just right across the bottom. And then I started with my lightest color ink, which was, I want to say old paper, and I rubbed a little old paper in the middle. And then I took Vintage Photo, and I went around the edges. What I was trying to achieve is this lighter area in the center. Went around the edges with the Vintage Photo and came in pretty far. And then the last ink I used was black soot. And I'm sorry for my fingers. Y'all can tell I just finished. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to put a button or something in a couple of these, the little pins. In fact, I'll probably, just for this one, let me get my my big bite. I think I pulled out a button for this. Let me make a hole. I have a clear button that looks like glass with black design on it, and I'm going to shove that through the hole if I can get it in there. I don't think my hole's big enough. Let me do it again. Just a little bit bigger. Shove that in the hole, and then I'm going to use my little tiny black, and I just had it, safety pin. And I get these at anywhere you can find sewing stuff. I think this one probably came from Michael's. And use it to hold my button in place. And on some of the other ones, I'll probably hang charms with either these or the little Tim Holtz. There. So anyway, that's the finished tag. So let me zoom back out. I'm a little bit too close. And they fit just perfectly in there. So eventually you'll have a picture on the front. Okay, on the second page, I just cut out one of the areas on the advertisement page. It's the Talking Machines advertisement. And wrinkled that up and distressed it with my Tim Holtz distressor, and used a lot of ATG on the back. And when I pressed it down, I made sure that I curled and I tore and I creased, and then made another flower with my Tim Holtz die. Used the small petals, and I used 3 layers on this one. And then there's a piece of the Prima bling back here that I cut apart, and then I just made 2 leaves, just free-handed those, some really kind of pointy leaves, and just adhered all that together and put it on there. And then on the back, I loved the picture and I just love this whole scene here. So I didn't want to put anything over her. Sorry, I was out of frame. I didn't want to put anything over her or the wording or anything. I wanted all the graphics to show. So I just cut out this little piece of advertisement and popped it up on dimensionals. And then put the black, I call it dingle ball, the black ball trim at the bottom of it. I got this at my local scrapbook store, Woven Heart, the other day. I didn't see it the last time I went in, and I think they had it. I just didn't look well enough, but I just love the teeny little hangy dingle ball trim. So that's that page. On this one, I loved the word telegraph, and then it looks like a French mail stamp or whatever. So again, I didn't want to cover any of that stuff up. So I just applied the paper and left the end free, and I covered probably a third of it with another piece of paper first. Distressed that real well, and then rolled the edge of this. And that's all there is to that page. It's very, very plain. But I love these papers, and I really don't want to cover up the paper, so that's why I did it this way. On this one, this is my husband's favorite graphic. It's right in the center of that piece of paper that has all of the pins on it. So I just cut that out and distressed it and bent up the corners and such. And I used the black Viva Pearl pins. These around this corner and this corner. And I used some glossy accents. I don't know if y'all can get that sheen just on the large letters, on the capital letters, and the little badge right here. So that's that page. And this page, besides the cover, this is my favorite. I loved the picture of her with her hat. So her hat had a flower on it. So I took one of the little teeny recollection flowers and placed it on there after I smushed it up some, and put some more Prima bling, and then used the pearl pins on these 3 flourishes right here and a couple of dots there. And then this paper behind, this is the only color besides the sepia and black, which I love sepia and black anyway. But I just want a little punch of color right there, so I did the little torn peekaboo right here and put, this is from, I think, Playtime Playtime's Past or something. It's still Graphic 45, just a different collection. And on the back, I took that little strip that says Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks, and I wrinkled that up and adhered that with ATG, and then made another little peekaboo torn area here with a plaid behind it, or checkerboard. And on this page, this is another one that I love, all the different graphics and the stamps and stuff on there. So all I did was use the pearl pins on 3 of the corners and made another little torn area, and I took one of the stamps from one of the sheets and cut it out and distressed it and applied it behind the little peekaboo area, and then had some more of that checkerboard behind it. And then on the back cover is the little ad that has the talking machine, so I really liked that, so I put that on it. And I probably will add some charms or something to it. I'm just not sure yet what else I want to put on it. But I hope y'all like it, and I thank you for watching, and let me know what y'all think. Everybody have a great week. Bye.